overawed by professional opposition. He allowed Fay just one set on his way to the final 6-5 in the fourth. So the world number 4, Chris Bray, will take on the world's leading amateur, Julian Snow. A fascinating contest, but how does each player view his opponent's game?
Chris is an extremely talented player and above all a great hitter, and his great strength on the tennis court is his forcing from almost any angle at any area of the court, and that's what I'll have to watch out for tonight. If a few too many thunderbolts going past me, and I'll be struggling. Julian's a very solid player. He doesn't make many mistakes. He's very accurate on hitting the targets on the court, and if I can keep the pressure on him and maybe rush him into a few shots, I think I can get the upper hand. Keep it short, keep it tight. Try not to give him too many openings, too many opportunities to lay into the ball. I'm fairly aggressive. I like the pace on the game. I'm going to be looking to chop and change it a lot, and I don't think I'd like that.
So, on to the final, and the players enjoyed some old-fashioned royal patronage from Prince Edward, not only a keen player, but also an avid fan of the game. In the first 2 sets, he saw a marvellous display of controlled tennis from Julian Snow. Chris Bray's attempted winners weren't quite finding their target, and Snow's dogged retrieving and accuracy were wearing down his professional opponent. Snow took his chances and won the first 2 sets 6-4, 6-3 as Bray showed his frustration. We pick it up in the 3rd set with Bray leading 4-3. Commentary from the world number 1, Lachlan Ducar and Simon Reed.
So Bray to serve. Yes, that's into the second gallery. He hasn't won the point, but he's achieved what he wanted to.
Yes, it's early in the game, and the most important thing is to get a chase so that he will get the service end soon. Chris has gone for the tambour there, missed it, and Julian's tucked it into second gallery, which is what he wants.
So he's got 1 chase. After 2, they'll change ends. Good bit of retrieving from Bray.
Yes, he's a very quick player. He's miles down the court there. Julian will be disappointed that he didn't do more with the shot, but it's really quick by Chris. Here it comes. That's just hit the wood just above the dead on. So he wouldn't have read that completely clearly, so it was natural reaction.
So that's 15 love. The scoring the same as in lawn tennis, 15, 30, 40, deuce, advantage, etc. And it's 1st to 6 games in a set.
There, he's done it again. He's gone and hit another ball into the gallery. He's given himself 2 chases and take the service end. Chris has had a shot at the grill, missed it. It's gone up on the penthouse. Fairly easy ball, and Julian's tucked it into last gallery.
So that's the last gallery chase. They'll play that off second, but first to play off is the original chase, the second gallery.
Second gallery, 15 on receiver. Second gallery.
So now it's Snow to serve.
Oh, fine shot. Chris has beaten the second gallery there by hitting it into the last gallery. Watch this. Julian serves the railroad. Chris hits it back, cross court, crisp volley, under pressure, flicks it back, and it goes in the gallery closer to the back wall than second gallery in there. Wonderful.
And now they play off the second chase, the last gallery.
Julian forces the error. That Chris had to take that volley. It was going straight in the grill. Comes across, aims one down at the tambour, misses. Chris pushes it across court. Back cross court. It's going straight in the grill and pressure volley and disappointment. That's typical of the way Chris Bray wins a lot of his points, forcing play, as opposed to Julian, who's much more inclined to play it on the floor. Oh, they just crawled over the line to set a hazard chase.
Explain what the hazard chase is.
Well, the hazard chase is the same as a chase, except it's at the hazard end. The ball goes in there. This ball's going to come down off the tambour, go across court, and just bounce this side of that white line. So now Chris has to hit all his shots behind the yellow line with the arrow.
And they play off single chases at game point, which is why they've changed ends now.
Yep. It's a perfect length service. He'll be wishing he'd volleyed that one. Landed right in the neck and just died. Here it comes. Extra little bounce up there on the penthouse. Julian thought it was going to hit further up the back wall.
And you can see the frustration etched on his face, and Bray now looking a lot keener, getting back into this. 5 games to 3. But remember, 2 sets down.
Oh, it's unforced. Chris is a real sort of steamroller type player. He has runs rather than sort of chipping away like Julian does. It's all back, but it's up on the penthouse. This will be something you can put the pressure on. Shot. Working away at the tambour. Yes, great shot. That's what he's looking for, is an opening to hit a ball down onto that tambour. It's where most of the points in this game are won, and why it's so important to be at the serving end, because it's the only end you can hit it from.
Getting him across court to keep him honest.
Yes, well, the tambour's influence extends really because it's the place he's going to hit it. The Julian's obliged to cover it more, which opens up the other corner.
So 30 love. That's the kind of mistake he was making in the first 2 sets.
Yes, he was quite tight in the first 2 sets. He seems to have relaxed in this set, but that was a bit of a memory from that set, the first 2 sets. Fine serve. That's another hazard chase. Julian will be happy about that. He's needed the service end. It's been stuck down there this game. Yes, he didn't even try for that one. He just let that go, let it bounce twice. Brilliant. Julian's just working away in that backhand corner.
A little bit lucky there.
That was a bit lucky. It just flipped over the net cord and set another chase.
So 2 chases, and the first chase they'll play off is the hazard chase, better than 2.
That's right. That means Chris can hit the ball anywhere at the serving end to win the point. Fine shot. Yep. Julian was obliged to cover the galleries there. They were all winners for Chris on a hazard chase. And he got so far up the court that he was out of position for anything else. Comes across, just scrambles it back down the wall and covers those galleries, which Chris was going for, and nearly won the whole match right there.
So 40-15, that's set point. They play off the second chase, 1 yard worse than the last gallery.
There's a chance to put some pressure on. Loose ball in the penthouse. Just nudges it past the tambour, well back. Oh, brilliant. Winning gallery. It's sort of a trademark of Julian's. Hit more balls in there than nearly any other player. Ball comes back. Very crisp. Nice short shot. Bang.
So, set point.
Another easy ball. And kills at the same place. Good time to call it a trademark.
And once it had gone up, he knew exactly where he was going to hit it, Julian.
Yeah, anything he gets up on the penthouse on that side of the court, you'll see it opens up those galleries. He's got a good angle. He's done this a million times in practice, and it hasn't let him down there. Very solid. Under pressure too, set point.
Set point saved then. Deuce.
That's a trademark shot of Chris's, straight down the wall into the dead on.
And why wasn't he covering that, Julian?
At that pace and that wide in the backhand side of the dead on, you can't really cover it unless you leave everything else open. He's basically covering the cross-court force off the main wall into the dead on. And if he's slotting him at that pace into the last 2 feet of the dead on, then it's a winner.
So third set point now for Chris Bray.
Oh, same again. That's terrific. Really needed that set. Pulled off 2 great shots.
So Chris Bray finally beginning to find the mark with a couple of thunderbolts to give him the third set. But Julian Snow still leads 2-1. We'll be back in just a moment for the game's final stages.
The last 300 years have not been happy ones for real tennis. Almost all the courts here and in France have fallen into disrepair. The last century has seen the meteoric rise of lawn tennis, and for a while the ancient game looked dead and buried. But a few diehards have not only kept the sport alive, but are now engineering something of a renaissance.
We had in the association, for example, about 800 members in the mid-1980s. We've now got 2,100, and there's been a steady growth in the last 20 years.
We're booked here from 8 a.m. in the morning to 11 a.m. at night, 7 days a week, right throughout the year.
We estimate that courts were on average used for 25 to 30 hours a week, say 15 years ago. Now there are many clubs, and certainly all those in London, which have usage of more than 100 hours a week.
A massive influx of women players, a new breed of dedicated professionals, and a handicapping system that allows people of all ages and standards to compete on equal terms have left the sport no longer short of interest, but suddenly desperately short of facilities. The first concrete moves towards improving the situation have come from an unexpected quarter. The Oratory School near Reading finished building a new real tennis court just 2 years ago. It was the first court to be built in this country for 80 years. It's proved to be a big hit, not just with the schoolboys, but also with the local residents.
Remember last time, same again, try and hold the ball up a little higher. So
they all owe a debt of gratitude to the foresight of the warden.
Taking it from down there.
We were going to build a sports centre anyway with 2 halls, a main hall and a subsidiary hall. And because of the geographic shape of the site, the subsidiary hall looked remarkably like a real tennis court in shape.
Nevertheless, it was quite a risky investment for such a little-known pastime. The sports department at the Oratory, though, has no doubt of its value as a game.
It has a little bit of everything in it. I think certainly has lawn tennis in that we hit the ball over the net. Certainly squash because we're taking the ball off the back wall. And actually cricket as well, in that the ball comes on a little bit like a cricket ball, being a hard ball, and you lean into a real tennis shot like you can lean into a cover drive or another cricket stroke.
It is a hard sport to learn, but when you get used to it, it's good fun.
You can use all the walls so you can hit it as hard as you like. But then when you realise the tactics, it's better to hit it softly.
It's different.